So the first pond's drained down pretty much. I'll get the last bits out. There's still a few little fish left in there, but tired. All the carp are pretty much out now. You can actually see the bottom, there's literally a couple of inches. But in there, there's sort of up to 2 feet in silt in places, which doesn't do a pond any good whatsoever. Just leaf litter and just stuff that's just built up over the years. The lilies, we're going to move some lilies in the centre there. We're going to move them to one side just to make it a bit more manageable, because they're a bit of a nightmare out in the middle. But you can see it's pretty much down to inches now. I just know there's probably a load of small perch hiding in those lilies there, but we'll get the pump going later on and get the rest of it out. That's something a bit bigger. Might be a few small carp left as well, but generally speaking, it's pretty empty. You see undercut banks, so carp dig. Anybody that says there doesn't is lying. They get into the edges and just dig out the banks. It's pretty bad along that side. This side that I'm stood on is actually okay because we've got quite a lot of vegetation down the sides here, so it's fairly stable. But we certainly need to look at that and get some vegetation in along that side. Marginal plants, so carex, iris, sort of nice marginals. Avoid sort of bulrushes. We're going to leave some in, but they tend to creep out into deep water. And certainly never put Norfolk reed in, because that would just take over and is a nightmare to get rid of. But yeah, diggers arrive tomorrow and dumpers. Got to create a way in, get the fence down, move that out of the way, and start scraping out all the logs and muck and see how many tyres we've got and whatever other delights we find in the silt, and get this one scraped out like we did the other one. So I'll have a quick look at the next pond that we did 15 months ago, October 21. So they're very similar size, there's like a couple of metres in it. One thing we did, took a lot of the bankside trees out, which is always difficult because obviously they're trees and they produce oxygen and good for the environment, etc. However, huge pain in the backside for producing silt, and as they drop the leaves go to the bottom, bacteria use oxygen in the water to break the silt down, and you can potentially suffer an oxygen crash at the back end of the year, or even in the winter. But we have left some. Yeah, there are some features, we're going to have to cope with that. But so this bank was cleared, and again we're just starting to get some bankside vegetation put in here. A little bit tardy on that last year in terms of getting that in. There are some irises planted, but hopefully they'll start to spread and stabilise the banks. There's no carp in here, so that helps, but certainly nonetheless we still want to get the marginals going. Holding nets up the top. I've got the bream and the idin from next door. I didn't want to put the carp in because carp have a tendency to jump. So they've gone into zipped up nets in one of the other ponds, just while we sort this out. But this is now sort of 6 feet deep in places. Took it back down to the clay. Yeah, no issues at all with the super hot summer last year. We didn't even have to run a pump or anything. And an appropriate stocking level as well. In fact, borderline slightly overstocked, I guess, with small fish particularly, but no issues at all. Whereas next door struggled quite a bit, but starting to come along. Just problem with this site is this is all ex coalboard land, so it's very shaly and we struggle to get stuff to grow. So one of the benefits is that all the silt we got out of this one last year has now dried out, and when we sent a sample for analysis, it's essentially 98% organic matter, totally safe, but essentially garden soil. So now we have the opportunity to start spreading a bit, digging a bit out, and now it's dry, and spreading it around, and basically putting a layer on. But you know, it's going to take some time. But yeah, we can definitely look at getting it a bit greener down here, and then turning it back to a sort of more green area. And again, you know, we've got the woodland behind us still. We've definitely got plenty of trees, coppices. And the thing is as well, yeah, it's all well and good having these huge areas of woodland, but what we end up with, you can see in front of us here as well, is lots and lots of spindly trees. And nothing does particularly well, so we've been selectively foresting, particularly the cracked willow, and taking out dead trees, so huge dead willow that came out and essentially cleared that entire area. We've got a bit of work still left to do down there, and it looks terrible, but actually longer term net gain is significant, because you get a more diverse sort of area with open spaces where predators such as the birds of prey can hunt. You know, you get new animals come in, rabbits, hares, that kind of thing, into the open space. Birds of prey are in the woodland, and significantly the general health of the wood does a lot better. We're taking quite a lot of advice from the Forestry Commission on this, yeah, just a blend of open spaces and coppices, and keeping the sort of important species such as, you know, oak, trying to sort of, you know, give the oak space to grow, take out sort of less important species, cracked willow, thin out birch, beech. We've got some various nut trees around, keeping those, but yeah, just looking after the sort of place. It's an absolute mess, as it always looks terrible over the winter. Just stuff everywhere, muddy as hell, but it's when we do a lot of our work. So come end of May, it'll all be tidied up, both ponds will be full of water, it'll start to look green again, and it'll be quite nice. So yeah, crocuses are up. I think they're pretty much gone now. Been up a few weeks. Daffodils aren't quite up at the bottom end. But yeah, lots to do. A bit of a rush before the end of March. We don't do any sort of tree work come end of March, because everything starts nesting and such. But lots of dead willows, you can see cracked. You know, people are sort of saying, "Oh, you're taking all the trees out," but literally it's these that are come over in the wind. We're just dicing them up, getting rid of them. What it does, it just creates space. I mean, I'll do another video in the summer, and it won't be noticeable. It literally will not be noticeable what we've taken out at all. But for the time being, ranted quite a bit. Just an update. So yeah, hopefully in about 10 days' time, we'll be doing a rain dance to get water flowing, and we'll have another pond that looks probably slightly better than this, but looks full and nice and deep, ready for the fish to get back in.